team. Virud has a lot of experience. He has like close to 15 years of work experience, and most of it has been in the field of data analytics and data visualizations. So he's been awarded Tableau Visionary twice uh, by Tableau and Tableau Public Ambassador 4 times in a row. And he is also a Tableau Public featured author. He loves maps and spatial analysis and is always in search of hidden secrets in data. And that can help change the world. And he is also ambassador of the One Young World, uh, in which he is advocating for sustainability. He is a rock star in Tableau community. Uh, he's not available today due to some other reason, but he will be in the other sessions that are coming up. Next is Shrikant Nemlipuri. Shrikant has over 11 years of experience in finance and IT industries. He's a data visualization lead and he has worked for multiple organizations in the last 11 years. He absolutely is in love with Tableau. He loves working with Tableau and interacting with uh, people from Tableau community. Lastly, it's me, Deepak Kumar N. I have 10 plus years of experience in analytics field. I'm a data science evangelist. I'm an expert in data visualization. I'm passionate about delivering insights from complex data. And I'm also trying to make people's life easier one visit at a time. Uh, so I'm just trying to solve complex problems using simple visits so that people can, make use of their golden time. And I love to talk about best practices of visualization, about storytelling, and everything about Tableau. And outside of work, I'm an avid reader and a passionate traveler. All right, that's about the Tableau team. That's about us. We will quickly move into the sessions, starting with Tableau extensions, which will be taken by Shrikant. Over to you, Shrikant.
Yeah, thank you, Deepak. A warm welcome to all the attendees here. Thanks for joining. So I'll be taking the session on Tableau extensions, which is a feature which was introduced a few years before by Tableau. Uh, so that can be used in the Tableau desktop. So basically, so extensions are nothing but so which we so when the options are less in Tableau desktop, or when we need when we need more options which are not available readily available in the Tableau desktop, we go with the extensions. So basically, extensions are nothing but just web publications that can interact with the rest of the dashboard using the Tableau extensions API. And using these extensions, we can go beyond the charts or functionalities readily available in Tableau desktop. So, for example, to create Sankey diagrams or Venn diagrams, so we have to write some calculations to design the coordinates of those charts, right? And you know that the Tableau's performance is solely based on the number of charts we have used, calculations, table calculations, LODs, and much more, right? So let's assume that we are using some calculations to build a Sankey diagram or Venn diagram that either slightly or moderately will give some load to the Tableau dashboard, right? So with this extension, where you can uh, use an extension from the extensions library of Tableau. So where this chart is readily available, it's just that you need to point out some dimensions or measures to get that in the Sankey diagram or Venn diagram. So we have multiple options in extensions to make our life easier while building the Tableau visualizations. Uh, let's discuss few of them. That is write back, export all, and some other functionalities. Uh, so write back is the name itself specifies writing back something to the data source. Okay, there were some instances where the data source team or the leads approached us before these extensions came into picture in Tableau. They used to reach us and used to ask us whether we can modify something in Tableau dashboard so that it can reflect in the backend automatically, either in Excel or database, which was not possible in the earlier days. Now, with the write back extensions, of course, many of them are licensed, and one of them is free, or two couple of them are free. We can use them uh, to achieve this thing. So write back, I'll explain in brief. So let's assume you have a cross tab in your Tableau dashboard, and you feel something to be modified there, and that's not possible in earlier days. You need to go back to the backend and you have to change the code so that it will reflect in the Tableau. Now it's a different case. You directly modify using this write back extension in the Tableau dashboard. The data whatever you modified that go in the backend, uh, you need to specify the target, where should it go and sit. That is what about write back. So let's see some live example here to better understand this. Let me share my screen. I hope you are able to see my screen. Deepak, can you please confirm?
Yes, Shrikant, I can.
Okay. So this is a dashboard or workbook which I have created some random cross tabs just to save our time. Let's go each. Let's go by each extension. So I have connected to a sample superstore where I have dragged and some dimensions to the rows shelf. Okay, and we have some sales. Let's assume this is not a customer name. Let me create another calculated field. Sales agent, customer name. Okay, now that we have all the sales agents for each category and subcategory, and the business or the supervisor wanted to know who has the less sales target achieved in last quarter. So I have put a filter here that is less than 8k, you can say. Whoever has less than 8k sales in last quarter, those are filtered out, and these are the number of records after the filtering. So you see 228 records now, right? And now that we have built a dashboard, and we are going to circulate this among supervisors and the sales agent as well. So meaning that we are giving this chart or sharing the published URL to sales agent or the supervisor, and asking the sales agent for the reason why the sales were low during the last quarter. So usually he can reply back with an email, right? So instead of doing that, if we can provide him a privilege to add a comment just by his cell. For example, this guy Dean Katz, he wanted to add something for his sales performance reason. He could add that here itself using a column. That he can do that in the Tableau server itself using an extension. Let's use that. So I'm drag and drop an extension here. So as soon as I drag and drop, it pop-ups with two options here: extension gallery and my extensions. So my extension is nothing but you might have already downloaded some extension which is relevant to this write back, and you can use it directly from your local copy. Since that is not available, uh, although it is available readily, but I want to show that how we can download that from extension gallery. Let's click on extension gallery. So here we have uh, all these extensions are categorized into three types: accelerators, dashboard extensions, and connectors. So the write back, let's type it here, write back. This is one of the dashboard extension, and you have sorry, and you have two write backs here. One is one requires the license, the other is a free. So the free write back, by using the write back free, we can write back to Google Sheets only for now with the freeware. Whereas the license, with the license thing, we can write back into the database and also to our local Excels, right? So since it is license required, let me search it again for a freeware. Okay, let's select free. We have 4 APIs here. Let's use this one, the first one, write back, download it. So it is downloaded. Okay, keep it at somewhere, wherever it is. So now the writeback.trex file is readily available. Go to the workbook, click on my extensions, and take that from the local copy. So it's loading. So once it is loaded, it will ask us all the information. Say suppose if we have multiple sheets available here, we can guide the API which sheet to be picked up. So in this case, since we have only one sheet, it automatically pick up this one. And when you click on the drop down also, you see only one thing. Select extract all worksheet data. We need all these fields along with the comments column, right? Now, where is the endpoint? Where do you want to write it? As I just mentioned, for freeware, uh, we have only option is Google Spreadsheet, right? Now that we need to establish the connection between the Tableau workbook and the Google Sheet. Let's go there. Spreadsheet configuration. So this link is available here only. When you click on see documentation, that will take you to this link where you will click on spreadsheet configuration and then click on copy the Google Sheet. Since I have already followed these steps, uh, I'm going straight forward. Uh, if you want to go through it, so this is the way. You click on see documentation. That when it takes you to this path, click on spreadsheet configuration and you can go through all the steps. So click on Google Spreadsheet, make a copy. So for us to use this Google Docs, right, we need to sign in. Since I have already signed in with my Google account, you see something here, right? Okay. Now the spreadsheet is available in Google Drive. Now the thing is we need to integrate this with Tableau workbook. For that, click on extensions, click on add script. It will open the script editor. We don't need to do anything with this script. Just click on deploy, new deployment, select type. This is web app. You can give any name, Chennai TUG. So since I have logged in with my Gmail, this is it. And we'll give this to anyone with this link. Click on deploy. Okay, now that we need to give authorization for Google, that um, this API to Google account. So that click on access. This is my account. We are giving permissions to Tableau do post. Then click on advanced. Go to Tableau do post. Click allow. Okay, copy this URL. Now we have the spreadsheet URL integrated with Tableau do post. We are giving that URL here and guiding Tableau desktop to write the information in this Google spreadsheet. This is optional. This is like just giving the tab name within the Google workbook, Excel workbook. You can leave it blank. Display measures, and we need to add a column here. Comments. Uh, we can leave it blank and then click on submit. So you see here category, subcategory, sales agent, and sum of sales has come up here. But what about the new column which we just added? So to get that, we need to click on reload. Adjust the width so that you'll be able to see the comment. Oh, okay, got it. So we left it blank, right? Okay, just a moment. Let's configure it again. Configure. Comments. Add your comment. Click add. Okay, I forgot to click on add. Click submit. Now that we can see this, right? Okay, so now let's sort this by descending order. And this guy wants to add a comment here. He will select his cell and click on edit. He will give some comment. Sales down due to lack of promotion. So now the sheet is ready. Now we need to instruct the Tableau desktop to push this information to Google spreadsheet, which we have already integrated. So just click on this, send the data. It will start doing in the backend. Let's see it here. Just a moment, guys. Oh, something is wrong with the integration. Okay, let me try again. My extensions, I'll do it quickly. Right back. Okay, let's generate the Google URL again. Spreadsheet configuration, Google spreadsheet. Make a copy. App script. It's the same steps. So that's why I'm going a bit speed. Deploy. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. Something wrong with the API. Okay. We'll move on to the next API. So it's nothing that this will, all this data will go back to the Google spreadsheet. I'll show you the Google spreadsheets which we had earlier, where it was writing the data and which we have recently used. So you see these. Simply the same way, it writes back the data to the Google spreadsheet. So to analyze this data, you will connect to this Google spreadsheet through Tableau desktop, and you can analyze directly instead of going through the spreadsheet and asking the sales agent. This is an easy way for uh, the people who wants the live thing. Okay, let's move on. Okay, this is another chart. So where we have sales and profit. Uh, let's take this to uh, this is simple cross tab where we have sales and profit, and profit is just to get all the negative values in red and the others in positive, others in blue. For only profit, we broke the columns using max of 1. And let's try to download this as a cross tab. Now you see here category, which is fine, subcategory is fine, profit is fine. This is an unwanted column, and we needed the sales also, which hasn't come here. So to get a proper cross tab by doing some aliases and giving proper names, we have an extension called export all. I have already downloaded this T-Rex file. I have shown you how to download this T-Rex file, right? So it's the same way. You can go and search with export all. This will come up. This is from Information Lab. Download it and get it into Tableau desktop. So as soon as it is loading, it asks which sheet you want to download as a cross tab. We have only sheet 2, Let's select that, rename this current year sales. Columns as we need category, subcategory. We don't need this column. And instead of sum of profit, current year profit. Let's rename this as well to current year sales. Click save changes. The button will be enabled so that we can download that as a cross tab. Close it. When you click on export all, it is even faster than when you click on export as a cross tab. Click save. Done. Let's open and see. Okay, this is the file downloaded at 6:32 p.m. Let's open and see the format of the data. You see, it's pretty good, right? With all the dimensions and measures are properly named here, and the unwanted column max of one hasn't come. So this is much helpful extension. Maybe write back is we use that in very rare cases, whereas this export all is much helpful in all the dashboards. Let's move on to the last thing as part of extensions in the agenda. So here I have already created a cross tab. So, and there is a parameter already created. So when you click on category, this will come up. When you click on select, no select, that will go away, right? Instead of two options here, let's assume there is a big dashboard, and for each sheet, you will have a parameter, 10 sheets, 10 parameters. Anyway, more number of sheets are not recommendable in dashboard. 5 sheets, let's assume, and you have 5 parameters. And to put all these five parameters, uh, either in a row or as a column, when you have multiple values here, it occupies much space, right? So with the parameter checkbox extension, we can save some space in the dashboard. So I have already downloaded this as well, and going there directly, click on TUG, and yeah, this is the one. Single checkbox parameter. So we have only one parameter here. Select that, set it. What is the value by default you want to see there? Category. Okay. Parameter name. You can see the preview here. Parameter name. Do we really need the parameter name? Maybe not required in this case. Either you can go with a checkbox or a toggle. Personally, I like this toggle button instead of a checkbox because it gives the information as a filter if it is a checkbox. So click on toggle, click OK. See how cool it is, which saves the space also in the dashboard. Okay, so with this, we have seen the important extensions which we can use regularly in our dashboards, and there are much more extensions. Whenever you get a chance, you can explore those, and be cautious while downloading the TREX files. Make sure whether it is from a trusted source or not. And one more thing, all the extensions which we have seen, or any extension, that can be used at only at the dashboard level, not at a sheet level, right? Okay, that's all about the extensions. I'm giving it back to Deepak. Yeah, Deepak.
Thanks, Shrikant. Can you please stop sharing, Shrikant, so that I can start?
Yes.
All right. Hello again. So, before we get started with the Ask Data, so I just want to let you know that Ask Data requires the data source to be published to a Tableau server. We don't have the logistics right now, which is we don't have a Tableau server or Tableau cloud outside of the organization. And we are in touch with the Tableau community for a dedicated cloud so that we can do all our sessions there. So for this session, it is either a screenshot or a GIF that will help you understand the concepts. So if you have more queries regarding this, you can reach out to me or Shrikant in person, and we'll be more than happy to help you. And in case you need a very detailed session on Ask Data, we can certainly do that. And we do have plans for that in the future, in the coming months. From 2024, we will be doing a lot more sessions. And yeah, so let's get started with Ask Data. All right, what is Ask Data? Ask Data is a feature that allows people to use their natural language and interact with the data. Right? It's a very cool feature. It's fast and powerful. It directly connects to Tableau data engine, so it is like it is seamless. You type a question and it gives a visualization in real time, right? Of course, it with the load of data with more number of rows, there will be some delay in the visualizations, but overall, it's a very cool stuff from Tableau. And so the visualization that you get can be directly consumed, so they give you the insight that you're looking for, right? So it is basically asking Chat GPT for something. You ask Chat GPT what is the sales across the region, it will just give you a visualization showing exactly how the sales were. So on the right, you see a sample of how the question is being asked on the profitability, and you get a visualization immediately, right? Okay, with that, let me move to the next. All right. So, if you want to create a Ask Data lens, it is important that you create your data source first, connecting to different data source. It could be a SAS data source, data sets, or it could be Excel, CSV, or even connecting to a online data source, cloud or anything. So first you have to publish it to Tableau. Once you publish it to Tableau, you can see an Ask Data section that is being added, on which you will see the list of dimensions, measures, everything that you created. And then the next step is to create a lens. Lens is basically a place where you go and search for visualizations, right? You publish the data source, and then from the data source, you create a lens. And there could be many lenses in a data sources. Like I can create one lens for the sales team, one for the marketing team, one for the finance, and so on, right? So that's how you create a data lens. And then once you create the lens, you can literally start using the Ask Data feature. What you have to do is just go to the search bar and type in whatever you want to know about the data. I'm sure most of us here know about the Superstore data set. If anyone who's worked with Tableau has worked on the Superstore data set. So, so we are here looking for the total profit across all regions, right? So I just go ahead and type what is the total profit by region or in or all region of a region, and it gives you the total profit across different regions. And it's a bar chart, but if you want to change it to a different type of a chart, you can do it. You have the option on the right side. When the bar appears, you can see on the top there's a bar option, right? So on the left side, whatever you see is the list of dimensions and measures that were created from your data sets in your data sources, right? Okay, we'll look at one more such query that is posted to Ask Data. So in the previous slide, we looked at profit per region, right? But here we are looking at profit over time, and you can see the difference here. In the previous case, it was a bar chart because uh, Tableau automatically sends that it is the dimension. It's a dimension, that the region is a dimension, whereas in case of time, it is showing as a trend. That's why it is automatically switching over to the line chart. Okay, and since there are multiple date in your data source, so you can see on the left there is order date and then ship date. So Tableau, how Tableau handles this ambiguity is it asks you whether you're looking for the order date or uh, the ship date, right? So the moment you type over time, it will give you an option whether you're looking at order date or the ship date, and it is as simple as this. All right. So so now we've seen how to ask questions in natural language with Tableau. Now we look at how to filter data. So most often we'll be looking at a particular uh, region or a particular dimension, right? We will not be looking at the whole discount or the whole sales that has happened. So what we do is you can simply type in what is the uh, who are the discount customers in the east, right? So Tableau automatically picks east is a region, so it filters automatically to the east region, right? You can see that. And then now I'm looking at the sum of discounts for each customers in the east region. But if I want to look at the average discount that were given to each customer in that region, I can go ahead, click on the aggregation from sum. I can change it to average, or I can change it to max, minimum count, or anything I wish to. Or you can just type it again so that Tableau will again recognize and change the aggregation. All right. There's another feature wherein I want to look at a visualization in a particular chart type, like a tree map or a map. So I can directly look at the average price by variety in a particular county, and then I give as a tree map. So it builds the chart as a tree map for me, right? You can also put it as a country map, and it will show you the different county that you have there, or a country or a state. It is that simple. And you also have the suggestion option, that recommendation option here. Like if you don't know what where to start with, you can simply go and click on the recommendations, and you can get started with it, right? And to arrive at this, we of course need to do some data processing, pre-processing, massaging uh, before we publish it to the Tableau server, right? That is very important, because only then Tableau will be able to understand what you are actually looking for. So before that, we'll look at synonyms because it's very important. Uh, Say now we have country as a dimension here, right? And in most organization, even in ours, we usually use the market for country. We use the market, or a store, or a we have different marketplace or a different names to the same thing. Like country will have many different names, right? A state will have a different names. It can be a micro market, it can be a market. So how do we tell Tableau that, see, my users will have different options of uh, you know different way of searching for the same thing. So make sure when they're typing for this, you give result for this. If they are typing for market, show the result for country. So that's the synonyms. Here's an example of how the synonyms work on dimensions. So industry here is a dimension, right? And there are multiple values here. We have banking, food and beverages, investment, and so on, right? And if I want to search who are the top lenders, right? If I just type in who are the top lenders, Tableau may not understand what lenders are. To Tableau, it is banking, right? So what I can do is I can give synonyms like lenders, bankers, credit unions, right? And so financial institutions and so on. So that Tableau will understand those keywords, and they relate to banking, and will be able to help with your search easily, right? Same is the case with pharmaceutical and supermarkets. So we cannot type pharmaceutical everywhere we want to search for it. So instead, you give it a RX is another way to call it. So instead of searching for pharmaceuticals, you can just search for what are the total profits in RX. So that's how the synonyms work. And we'll also look at one more synonym where we use it on measure, like sales or profit. So you just right click on that measure, and here you have the window, and then you can keep adding n number of synonyms that you want. So for profit, we added the synonym benefit. Now the median profit, when you type the median benefit, it takes you to median profit. So Tableau now understands that you've typed benefit, but you're actually looking for profit, right? That's a cool stuff. All right. And the next thing is being able to use this. It's not just on the data source page. You can actually do the ask data query. You can embed it on Tableau desktop, on your Tableau desktop, or anywhere. You can give it a link anywhere outside. Also, you can put it on a web page, or you can use it anywhere literally. Because it is published to Tableau's server, it automatically gets the data from the server, right? So if you have a company web page and where you want to put this, you can directly embed it there and you can ask the questions directly from your company's web page instead of even coming to Tableau, right? So here's an example of how to embed it. Um, so just like the extension, you will see the ask data feature on the left side of the dashboard. You can simply drag and drop it anywhere on the dashboard, give it some kind of a cool logo like we have it here. And once you click on it, the same ask data window opens here. So you can literally ask any questions that you want, and you have the answers for them in seconds. All right. So next comes something very important, which is the analytical capabilities. Uh, so Ask Data supports these six features or the capabilities. First is the aggregations. Like if I can just type how many orders and it will give me the total orders that we have. Meaning it is aggregating uh, the orders and giving a sum of orders automatically. But I've not mentioned explicitly like what whether it should perform sum or count or max. So it is reading both your data set and the context in your question, and it's trying to solve the answer. And if you're looking at grouping, if I just type and show me orders by country, it knows that the country is a dimension in the data, so it will just group them as a bar chart and show you. Likewise, filtering, we tried this. It's at least 50, so it reads the at least $50, and price is at least 50. So it puts some filter on and filters anything that is $50 and above, right? And you can also limit your data with top and bottom. Like if you want top 10 or the best performing or the least performing, Tableau can read that and limit your data depending on what input you give. And you can also sort your data, like you have the top 10 categories by average price and you want to sort it alphabetically, or if you want to sort it by ascending or descending, and you can call it out and Tableau will do that for you. And finally, you can create calculations like the year on year growth. In business, it is very important that we look at the trend and the year on year growth or the month on month growth, right? So you can directly use calculations and um, you can put it as a synonym and Tableau will directly pick what you're trying to see, right? And there are some best practices so that you get the best result out of our data. The first one is to anticipate the type of questions that your business or your stakeholders will be looking at. If you're in a credit card business, then you should know how your data should be, what are your synonyms, and so on, right? So first thing is, depending on the questions, you should make sure you have the right data and the data is joined in the right way so that the granularity of the data is correct. So these things are to be taken care of even before you publish it to the server. and then you have to create all your calculated fields. Like we mostly need them for the month on month or YOY calculations and so on. So you should make sure all those are taken care of. And secondly, you need to simplify the data source, because what we are looking here is the lightning response from Tableau. But if you want that, you need to make sure your data is capable of doing it, right? So it is a must that you remove all the unnecessary data from your data source. Like if you're not using, you think if some columns are not even required, you can remove it. And then it's always better to use extract in place of live connections, because extracts are always faster and Tableau can work upon it and give you the answers very fast, right? And coming to the your fields or the dimension measures, it's very important that you give them meaningful names, right? So most of our databases are SQL based, and I'm sure you must all be facing these issues. Like whenever you have a field name, it always has a underscore. Like if you have an application count, it's like appl underscore cnt, and these type of conventions should be avoided when you're dealing with Ask Data. Uh, One best way to do it is while you're querying an SQL itself, right? You create an alias for it, and they give the name as application count or orders instead of uh, ORD, CNT, something like that, right? So that is very important to have a unique, meaningful, and typable names, right? And then secondly, you need to set the data type. Um like if you have a date, and sometimes Tableau reads that as a string, right? So you have to manually change the date to a date field so that Tableau understands it. Likewise, there could be other fields like country. Country is a geospatial element, right? So country has to be uh, geocoded as country, right? You can right click on the field, and you can set the default properties as a location, geolocation, and then you can select country. So why this will help is when you're selecting or when you're searching for an answer which involves country, Tableau will automatically recognize this and give you a visualization which will have a map in it, right? So it's a lot better when you see it in a map versus a bar. So it's very important that you select the data type, and default aggregation for most of the fields is usually sum. But if you think a particular measure needs a different kind of a aggregation, like a maximum, minimum, count or something, count distinct, you need to set those things before, right? And then the final thing is the synonyms that we already discussed. It's very important that you give the right synonyms for for the business context, so that people who are going to search with the right synonyms. Okay. Of course, like any other tool and technology, this Ask Data has its own limitations. Like the row level security cannot be implemented with live connection, meaning it has to be an extract to go with a with a row level security. If your company has different levels of access, it's always better to go with live connection and make sure the data is well cleaned so that it's faster. And this is one thing that we get to hear a lot. There's no control over the color and size of charts in Ask Data. Yes, because Tableau is basically answering a question. So it automatically changes colors based on the dimension and preset values. So there's no way you can change the color, like the different colors that you want. And of course, the size of the charts cannot be changed. All those can be taken care in the dashboard, but when it comes to Ask Data, it's just what Tableau gives. And finally, we have the final point is that is the same problem that we are having today, is that we need the data source to be published to Tableau server to be accessible. Otherwise, you cannot use the Ask Data feature, right? Though there are limitations, Tableau is working on all of these, especially on the color, size, and new features are coming up with the generative AI being in focus. Tableau is coming up with a Tableau GPT, which is more like a chat GPT but integrated with Tableau, especially for the visualization. And we are looking forward to that in the 2024 version, which is coming sometime in the March. Um, that's all I had for today. We can take your questions now. Shrikant, do we have any questions on the chat?
No.
All right. So I've also enabled the Q&A section. So if you guys have any questions, you can post it there, or you can also use the chat for the same.
Yeah, post this session also. In case if you have any queries, you can reach out to us anytime, either in LinkedIn or in the Tableau Slack.
Yes, we'll be more than happy to assist you. So please reach out to us. You can use Slack, or you can reach out to us on LinkedIn. And yeah, so we have 2 minutes. If you have any question, we can take it. Okay, thanks, Jeet. Thanks, Tarun. Thanks, Amos.
Yeah, I think we can wrap up
I
this
got
session.
one question. Okay, so
Is
Tarun
it?
has asked, is there any way to get vouchers of the exam for it? Tarun, I'm really sorry, we have no idea about it, but I'll get in touch with the community and um, try to get you answers for that. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Slack, and I'll respond to you. Thank you. All right, thanks everyone. We had a good session, and we'll be hosting a lot of more sessions um, in the coming months. So I request you to, you know, stay tuned and join our sessions. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.